nice. Opening. Sheesh. That is loud. Okay, there we go. I toned down my mic volume. This must be the opening for the actual intro for the game. Or the pre-sequel. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it's the pre-sequel. No one wants to talk about it, but it's all that's on anybody's mind these days. Mysterious things are happening all around Shibuya. Shibuya it takes place in Tokyo, Japan. Sightings, attacks, disappearances, feel. How is a kid supposed to be a kid in a time like this? But honestly, Ryota never really was like most kids. He's not usually glued on his phone all day. I get to move around. Let me see. I want to do bathroom vanquishing. Could monsters really live among us? These case files say that yes, they absolutely can and do, according to this one. A lady called me about a missing person who vanished from the bathroom of our apartment. Usually I'd brush it off as another runaway, but after seeing the crows circling above our apartment, I had a feeling there would be more to this. The black stains on the front door verified my hunch. It turns out that I'm the only one that can see these black stains. The lady who lived there and showed me in made no signs of noticing it. She showed me the bathtub and gave me a play-by-play of what happened. Her boyfriend was taking a bath longer than usual and so went to the bathroom to check in on him. When she opened the door, her boyfriend was gone, and for a short instant there was a reflection of an old shrine on the surface of the bathwater. I rubbed my finger on the rim of the bathtub, and there was a transparent, sticky, slime-like substance on it. A reflection of a shrine shone on the water's surface. I'll need to talk further with my team about this incident to see if these things ring any bells. I purged the black stain on the front door and then left the scene. Poor lady, what will she do now? What any use of us can do. Dash KK. Okay, how about this one? Unable to shake the idea that monsters are all around him, Ryota navigates on his phone to a document called the Muanochi Vanishing. The language
sounds like Orochimaru if he had an M in his name.
The language is complicated, but he works to understand it, it says. I got a tip on a missing woman from Murinochi. When you've been a detective as long as I have, you tend to build up a big network of contacts. The story my contact told me was that they saw the woman one day when the fog rolled in, it blanketed the area, and then poof, she was gone. Which I do know a bit of this. So the fog that rolled in was filled with a bunch of monsters / creatures / evil spirits and entities. So most of the urban legends, you know, for like Japanese wise, like the horror urban legends, like with evil spirits and stuff, they were involved with this game. So that's what it's kind of based off. It's kind of like Evil Within, but it's like taking place in Tokyo and is like a first person thing, and you have like special powers. Like these make me wish a certain somebody was around. Come to think of it, the fog in these disappearances set the scene for when I first met the rest of my crew. Everybody kept talking about folks just show up. Yeah, just up and disappearing. It wasn't until I met them and until my encounter that I believed. Ever since then, I've been haunted by what I would have once called hallucinations. Turns out being able to see spirits and monsters isn't fantasy-movie nonsense after all. Guess I should be thankful because otherwise I wouldn't have seen through that monster taking the form of the woman. She made a bunch of red orbs appear that chased me around, but I knew so long as I didn't let myself get surrounded, I'd be okay. She was a nightmare to look at, so I put her out of her misery. When I searched the scene, I spotted a woman's handbag. Found the missing lady's ID cards in there. Then I came across some clothes that looked like they would have been hers. They were in a little pile, but the way they had fallen made it clear her body had just vanished. No mistaking whose handiwork it was either. I finally managed to get my hands on a solid enough lead to work with. Dash KK. And then the last one is this vanquishing. Ryoto's concerns bring him to a mysterious case file posted online. It's titled The Kingoka Vanishing. He reads it to himself the best he can. Having tracked another report of dark fog to the area, I arrived to find it had passed, leaving dewy rain hanging over the neighborhood. At the scene, all we found were the clothes of a mother and a son, left behind like two molted Cicada shells? I think I said that right. It's hard to even imagine a parent and a child just gone. Precious lives snuffed out forever. My heart sank knowing that I had failed to protect them. It was the worst feeling I had ever felt. As if on cue, the rain started pouring down heavier and heavier. It fell with each passing minute, but I couldn't be bothered to take out my umbrella. That's when the obvious culprits returned to the scene of the crime. A group of monsters. They had umbrellas of their own, as if rain followed them wherever they go. I was furious. They tried to protect themselves with the umbrellas, but I just kept pounding on them until they were battered and broken. I was so exhausted I could have fallen over at any moment, but my auto wrath kept me going. As I picked up to leave, I still refused to open up my own umbrella. I just walked away, rain pouring and soaking me to the bone. Okay, there we go. Okay, I guess we didn't read all of it. And he's supposed the kid had found something, or rather someone. Someone called KK has been looking into monsters in this part of town. A believer, just like Ryoka. Okay, so KK is actually like is like an entity spirit kind of that helps Ryota uncover the truth of why everyone's vanishing in the city of Tokyo.
So it's kind of like Shaman King.
Shaman King. I don't know what that is. What is that? A video game or?
No, Shaman King is an anime where they have these spirits that help them fight.
Yes. That's literally what it is. Mixed with some vibes, kind of like with Infamous. Because, I don't know, this animation kind of reminds me of the Infamous cutscenes. Social media would never lie, and that means KK is an expert, maybe the expert in all things paranormal. There's only one thing left to do. Having pored over every story, post, and grainy photo about local monsters, he could find Ryota prepares to take action. I'm gonna ask this KK guy to help. Just gotta figure out where he lives first. Oh, sweet. Okay, so I guess so. Well, it ain't me touching. Ooh, secret lappy. Who are you? Oh, Rinko. Dear Mr. Investigation Person. Hello, how are you? I am not good and I need your help. Monsters got my best friends. Sosuke? Is that literally Sosuke? Sosuke? Is that how you pronounce it? Sosuke? Sosuke.
I'm gonna call it Sosuke Aizen.
Winko sits up in her chair. Oh, Winko's a goal. Okay. She zeroed in on one of a dozen monitors from across a makeshift command center stuffed into this cramped Tokyo apartment. It happened near the manhole. Please help me get him back. Data files across the screen, seemingly too much. Charts and graphs, maps and mathematical equations, even social media feeds and open case files. Somehow, through all of those screens and all of that clutter, Ryota's message catches Winko's eye. Sounds desperate, but it could just be some bored kid trolling us. Calm and confident, Winko insists on balancing compassion with skepticism in her initial approach. On the other hand, that manhole is within the vicinity of several recent incidents. Maybe he is involved. She knows what she thinks, but she also knows no one can protect Tokyo all by themselves. Trusting your teammates is the only way to keep everyone safe. What do you make of it, Ed? Who's Ed? Okay, Ed. Cool. Ed's probably the brain guy in this operation, maybe. Ed squints and takes a simple deep breath as he turns to the screen. He has something to say, but holds it back. Technology is easy. People are hard. Instead of speaking up, he places a small recorder on his desk. He presses play, and as the audio began to roll, Ed turns and walks away. I've heard intriguing stories about so-called manhole girls in Japan, vengeful ghosts of bullied students said to trick other children into following them into the sewer, from where they never return. If any information turns up about such anomalies, I'd be keen to investigate. Though I speak purely out of personal interest, it might not be enough to make the rest of my team pursue it without further evidence. Okay, safe to say, since you somehow found the time to record something this specific about a single urban legend, that you want to look into it. Ed is already engrossed in other work. He doesn't respond. He certainly doesn't notice when Winko rolled her eyes. He rarely does. Probably best we have no idea how you spend your free time, huh, Ed? Oh, hey look, Erica. Erica looks nice. Erica's like a I like her. She's not bad, actually. Erica's been sitting next to Winku this whole time, listening and waiting for the right time to chime in. That time is. Want me to check it out? I don't think so, Erica. Could be dangerous. What if something happens to you? Seriously, you still don't trust me to go out by myself for 5 minutes in the middle of the day? At just 16 years old, Winco might be right not to trust Erica on something dangerous. But Winco knows that Erica has shown a maturity beyond her years. She gives Erica an almost sisterly look of skepticism. You know it's not that.
Skepticism?
Yeah, I think that's what it says. Winco quickly turns back to her monitors and away from Erica. But for all her maturity, Erica can't quite keep from pouting. Stop making that face. Besides, we've got our very own private detective in the vicinity already. I'll have him take a look. So I guess this detective already taken a look in the sewers is probably us. Ooh, fancy restaurant. The stall is brimming as a wide array of customers eat in relative silence. The only sound they make is the slurping of the noodles. That silence breaks when a phone begins to vibrate upon the countertop. The owner ignores it, chooses to focus on his meal instead. The phone doesn't care about his hunger and continues to vibrate. Also, this is probably our main character right here. The phone wins. The peace and solitude have shadowed. There is no way to enjoy noodles. Silent Deno finally glances at the screen. He begins to mutter to himself. Another case? These people have me working harder than my enemies ever did. Can't even get 5 minutes to enjoy a nice quiet lunch. Let me guess, I'll be risking life and limb.
Why does that sound like lunchtime at school? They only give you like 18 minutes max.
That why you let it ring for so long. Too scared to pick it up? Ha, you know the exact day I stopped being scared of anything. The day you stopped being a loner and hooked up with us so we could have your back? Sure, that works. Besides, I'm not full enough to pretend this team isn't half okay. If you need backup, you know I'll be there. No questions asked. I actually already volunteered, but right now there's nothing dangerous to be worried about. It's a simple check-in on a report of some suspicious activity that might be connected to these phenomena we've been looking into. It's always the simple cases that go south the fastest. You know what? You're right. Maybe Erica should run point on this one. Sure, she's just a kid, but you're busy, so... Well, hold up. Let's not sacrifice the Wookiee to make me look bad. I'm already out. Send me the info and I'll get on it. First, though, I need to talk to one of you about something. Oh, cool. Wait. Oh, I can pick. I can pick. Who should I pick? Who should I pick? I want to pick the 16-year-old. Why not? Which character? I'm debating on both.
Erica.
Wait. Erica? Okay, so it's all... Eager to get out there, huh, Erica? Chase some thrills? No, not thrill-seeking. It's my duty. I have to help. I don't have a choice. Listen, kid, you always have a choice, but I get it. It's that thing inside that tells us we can make a difference. It's a burden, but it also keeps us going. You just gotta know when to use it and when to hold it tight. Otherwise, it'll carry you away. I'll never let that happen to me. I won't be like, quote-unquote, him. What he did it's unforgivable. Who's this him? I feel like this him is the one person that I told you is actually a spirit with superpowers that will help our main character. That could be him. I don't know. I know you won't. Winco and I would never allow it. You just have to follow our lead. That's your job, huh? Make sure I don't stray too far from the pack. One of my jobs... Ryoto doesn't notice the people passing him on the streets. They don't notice him either. He is young, but he is very much alone. His focus is centered on the small bit of paper in his hands. After a couple folds, the paper finds a familiar configuration. With a head, arms, and body, it takes shape. A palm-sized person stands in his hand. As Ryoto inspects his creation, someone who has been observing him from afar steps out of the shadows. What you got there? Ryoto looks up. He's nervous but clutches the paper doll in his hand to stay brave. He's not running or hiding despite the gruff stranger staring at him. No need to be afraid. I'm not here to do anything bad to you or your little friend. Gotta admit, I've been knowing to carry the odd paper doll with me on investigation. Strange habit, I know. But you get the benefits of a partner without the annoying small talk. Ryoto's shoulders ease. He let his guard down as he listens to the detective and re-examines the folded paper. The detective surprises himself with his playful tone. He's rusty, but he somehow still feels comfortable talking to this scared kid. Sometimes paper dolls are used for magical purposes. Okay. You a sorcerer by chance? Now's the time to tell me. So you really are him, huh? Gonna have to be more specific, kid. You're KK, the ghost hunter from the files. You must be. I just thought you'd be taller. Okay, so we're KK. They say you solve strange mysteries, right? KK? Maybe. The detective looks closely at Ryoto's phone. He sees the social media posts featuring photos of various case files he has worked on, collected in one place. Look, I only use those initials because writing out my name is a pain, and I got too much pain already. Not your problem, right? Anywho, that's me, KK, but I'm not a ghost hunter, I'm a detective. KK, Damian hardens a bit, dropping the playfulness. You wanted to investigate a kid? Well, you got one. I'm so glad you're going to look into the disappearance at the manholes. Here's the thing I already did. Made some calls on the way here. There's no record of any recent disappearances. Still got a few friends on the force so I can dig up dirt quick. KK shoots Ryoto a serious look. Not trying to pull a fast one on me, are you, kid? It's true, honest, my buddy. Sosuke. Sosuke.
So
I'm
scared.
Sosuke, yeah, I'll just call Sosuke, disappeared. He hasn't come home since yesterday. The last place I saw him was right back here. Ryota motions to the alleyway behind him. He went down that way. I tried to follow, but I couldn't find him. He was completely gone. If Ryota is bluffing, he's an incredible liar. Sadness comes over him when he looks back toward the alley. KK looks back and forth from the kid, then to the alleyway behind him. All alleys are dark, but this one looks like it's never seen daylight. See any fog when that happened, the moment he disappeared? Now that you mention it, there has been something spooky around, like a kind of fog or darkness, but it came and then went. Alright, KK mutters something to himself as he eyeballs the alleyway behind Ryota. Nothing looks immediately out of place with so much going down in the city. Some kid getting lost doesn't exactly seem like front page news. Call the kid's bluff. Press for more info. Which
Press the
one?
bluff.
Press for... I need more to go on, kid. Why are you so convinced he was taken? Didn't happen to anyone else around here, but it did happen to my best friend. Sosuke had been missing for 2 full days. Everyone has been looking, but no one can find him. What about his parents? Have they filed a police report? I'm the only one who really cares about Sosuke. I know he needs me, and no one else is even looking for him anymore, just me. He's lucky to have you. It's like when you saw crows circling above the building in one of the cases you investigated. You knew there was more to it than anyone else. Well, Mr. KK, I know there's more to Sosuke's disappearance. I just need your help. Really did your homework, huh? I'm impressed. You're more dedicated than most adults I know. You remind me of my friend Erica. She lost someone too, and she'll never stop fighting for them either. KK takes another glance at the alley. Alright, show me exactly where this Sosuke pal of yours disappeared. Ryota pokes up. So you're gonna look into it? I'm here, ain't I? Let me check in with my team and see if they figured anything out. Could save us some time. KK reaches for his phone. What's up? We're all here. I just need a quick word with one of you to follow up on what the kid has told me. Okay, so I have to, okay, who are we picking now?
The girl that looks like she just went to a punk rock concert.
Okay. You find anything else? I know you've been searching all over on your fancy computer. Some worrying details have started to emerge, the type of details that mean he is for sure involved. Who's he? Social media is starting to fill up with posters about the appearance of a mysterious dark fog. It's been popping up in neighborhoods with similar data, set to the one Ryota calls from. School absences are also on the rise. I can't confirm if those represent actual disappearances or just spooked kids trading scary stories, but it's clear fear and paranoia are taking hold. Yeah, figured out that much? Oh, really? You carry a fear and paranoia detector now? Did Ed develop that when I wasn't paying attention? Years on the force are what gave me my fear detector. You can't beat experiments. But I do appreciate your input, even if I already knew it all. Ryota, it's time to find Sosuke. Okay, Let's see where this takes us. Ooh, alleyway. Nothing looks out of place, but things are rarely what they seem. KK slowly but deliberately reaches his hand out. He's not holding on to anything, but you would think that he is by the way he's moving, like he's got something invisible dangling from his fingertips. Ryota has no clue what he's trying to do, but he watches closely. However, what happens next can only be seen by KK's eyes. As KK opens his fingers, a sparkling orb of energy drops from his hands onto the ground. It ripples like water in a still pond. Energy flows outward into the world. Let's go. Okay. Secret powers, you know me, like, oh, okay. So I guess I can absorb everything, okay. A strange trail floats into view as though a spirit has passed through this place. Physic energy. The trail leads forward on, deeper into the alley and out of view. Guess he went that way. Puzzled, Ryota follows KK eyeline down the alley, but sees nothing out of the ordinary. What happened? I don't see anything. Trust me, kid, it's good. You can't see it. This is a power you don't want, and you're too young for it. To take a risk like that and change your life forever? The world's a scary place. It keeps getting worse. We're gonna find your friend and get you back to your life. Oh, this is starting to get good. Starting to get good. Where are we? KK and Winko are in big trouble this time, running like rats, desperate to stay alive, with only a dingy old sofa between them and monsters. We better find another exit. Winko turns to KK and sees him holding his head. He appears to be in a great pain. Body is reacting to the ether. As KK looks at the room, his vision begins to break in half. He tries to focus, but rather than reform, everything continues to split apart even further. Another hallucination. The world is breaking in two. That be crystallized either another form of matter. Sounds like your body has entered the final stage of infinity. I can't even. From thin air like phantoms, these horrific visitors appear, surrounding KK and Winko. We're surrounded. Oh, great. We're surrounded. We must have ran out. Mr. KK, are you okay, huh? Sorry, kid, my mind can be a little too hard to control. You just kind of stood there for a little while. Sometimes my memories take me places. Hate to leave you alone again, but you need to wait here while I look for your pal. Sit tight, it won't be long. We have some interesting... A report on Winku's computer setup flashes on screen. Ed's monitoring software has a hold of something big. The results are clear, spiritual residue, and it's exactly at KK's location. What is it now? We just received an alert. There was a massive surge of spiritual energy at your location. Hold off on pursuing until we're able to send support. Can't wait forever for you guys. We might have a missing child on our hands. We got plenty of evidence. I know what I'm getting myself into. Remember, fog reports are increasing. There's no fear on the streets. Time to act. Of course I know things. I'm the one who told you. I also know how dangerous it's getting out there. This time could be even worse than the last. What if he shows up? Wish he would. Excited to see that mask snap in two when I put my fist through it. Okay. It's not fair to ask us for help when you think you need us. Then use your own words against us when you're too impatient to act as a team. We're in this together. KK decides to address one team member specifically to make his case. Who do you want? Who do you want now? Who do you want? Eddie? Okay, Ed. The hunger I have to solve this case is as good as any science expert you could conduct to get to the bottom of it. Ed, how many times have my instincts been proven right by all your high-tech gadgetry? That's not something I keep tally of. The purpose of my work isn't to prove you right, but it happens all the time. I'm out in the streets, pressing into darkness, trusting my instincts. I can't be waiting for you all to be download a software update. I feel like you're trivializing my work quite a bit. Of course, I'm extremely thankful when I can assist you, but my primary goal as a scientist and a paranormal investigator is much greater than any individual day-to-day goals. And that's exactly my point. We all need to focus on what we do best, and what I do best is not wait around. We can all agree that no good at that. I must say, I quite admire your grit, and I do not envy the stress that a city like Tokyo must place on a detective who just wants to do his job. However, I would remind you, in nature, a lone wolf typically isn't alone for long. They are alone only until they find a new pack or become prey themselves. That may be factually correct, but sure as takes the coolness out of it. I can't disagree with that. Just try and act cool in the most responsible way possible. I'll pack a stronger with you in it. I'll talk to you later. I'm in the middle of investigating. He never was any good at following people's directions. That attitude of his is precisely what saved our hides on countless occasions. You don't think I realize that? Erica smiles, thinking that KK's attitude, it doesn't bother her. Here we are again. They're everywhere. KK's eyes dart between the two horrific creatures into some incredibly strange glowing crystals that hover nearby. As he tries to speak, KK wheezes painfully. Winko, what would happen if someone tried to touch one of those ether crystals? Your guess is as good as mine. Might give you the power to fight back. Might just make you even more miserable. Who can say? What about him? Did it grant him strength? Winko nods silently. After getting his answer, KK, without hesitation, stretches his hand out toward the crystals. Wait, stop. Stopping's not an option. Not for any of us. You don't know what will happen. It could kill you. And those things won't. We're dead if we don't try something. We aren't out of options yet. You've thrown away everything to fight those monsters, same as me. There's not a thing left to lose at this point. Before Renku could say anything else, KK reaches all the way out. KK follows the trail of physic energy deeper into the dark Shibuya alleyway, away from the glow of familiar streetlights and vending machines. His venture into the unseen brings him to a manhole cover where the spirit residue flashes with an eerie intensity. This spot is clearly the origin point for whatever spirit is at the center of this mystery. Did they take you this way, Sosuke? KK looks around again and, finding nothing, focuses his attention on this haunted manhole. The spectral vision shows KK a lot more than he thought it might, revealing a glowing spectre hovering in this dark and dreary place. The spirit of a man in his 30s, a Jibakure, according to Japanese law. This type of spirit is trapped in a physical location. Okay, Spectre,
Why does
what's keeping
KK
you
look like
tied
a
down
smaller
there?
version of the kid detective? Or a taller version, I mean.
The Spectre seems unable to answer him. Instead, he mutters as if distracted or perhaps completely delirious. Either dash or, maybe both. Spectres aren't especially concerned with politeness or clarity. Neither of us is going anywhere until I get some answers. I need to know, what are you doing here specifically at this manhole cover? Why haunt this place? I thought it was just a kid playing around, just having fun alone. I wanted to make sure he was safe. So just being neighborly, eh? Yes, no, not making friend, protecting, but he wasn't. It wasn't a kid though, was it? There was something else, something lurking in these shadows. Did I die? I think I died, but this isn't what I expected. What was it? Monster, a monster. The Spectre points downwards. Underneath, huh? KK stares at the manhole as though if he just looks hard enough, he'll suddenly see what looks in the darkness beneath its cover. He doesn't have to see the Spectre nod to know he's right. It went that way. But before he can pull up the manhole cover and see for himself, a long shadow creeps in from the edge of the alleyway. Did you find anything? Snooping around is detective business. You don't belong back here. I thought I heard you talking to someone. Who is this youngster? Only I can hear you, so don't bother. Only you can hear me? Well, sure, nobody else is even here. This is turning into a clown show, kid. I need you to stay here while I go down. It's not safe for you there. Not safe, monster. But how do you know I'll be safe up here? My team's one call away. They'll get here quick if you're in danger. Want you just saying something about being in the middle of an investigation and too busy to talk to anyone? Funny, you should mention that. I could actually use some help. I believe they call it client services. Who are you calling, mister? Are they nice to you or nicer? Client services. Sounds more like babysitting to me. If only you would just wait for us to get there. We play the hand we've dealt. And juggling work and childcare has never been my strong suit. I need a little support. Winko sighs a long, tired sigh of a frustrated person who knows that in the end, of course, they'll help. She'll always help him just as he will always help her. And I have the perfect candidate in mind. Okay, who are we picking? Who are we picking now?
The last one that hasn't been interviewed yet?
I think that's ourselves.
Yeah.
You sure? I don't know what would... Okay. Wait, I can handle this. It's just one noisy kid. Ryota, not gonna lie, you come down into the sewer. You might not come back up. My record's pretty good, so you either trust me or we part ways. I only take on clients who have faith in me. What's it gonna be? You gonna let me down there solo while you wait safely up here, or is this the end of our professional relationship? I guess I will wait. You guess? Okay, I'll wait. Worst decision ever. I promise, Mr. KK. Good move, kid. You're a lot less of a pain than some of my other clients. Now to get down there and find your pal Sosuke. Let's go down there and see. Ooh. Dirty water splashes under KK's feet as he makes his way through the still darkness of Shibuya's sewers. The farther he goes, the darker it gets, but not because of any change in light. No, this darkness is unnatural. In fact, it's not darkness at all. It's tangible. Dense fog made of spiritual energy fills the air. Toxic, paranormal waste coats the ground and plugs the drains. Ooh.
That is the entire Bleach plot.
But the air itself is rejecting him. This corruption flows between walls and reaches around him, blocking KK's way. How long has it been building up? Right below our feet? Is it like this everywhere? As KK goes deeper, the Kigao only increases. There's definitely something here if there's this much corruption swirling around. Nothing I can't handle, though. Alone in the darkness, KK summons his powers and... Ooh. What are we getting? What are we getting? Oh?
We're finally done.
Oh, I see. I see what I need to do. You're kidding, right? Trace the shape to clear the... Okay, that's actually gonna suck. Hold up. Oh, my. You already know what's gonna go down.
5 hours later, you finally finished.
Yo, don't look at me, okay? I have trouble trying to do this. There we go. That was kind of annoying because my controller was dragging. Cleanses the corruption, returning the sewer to its normal slate. That's better, minus the stink. With the Kigar now cleared. As if they were waiting for a moment of safety, someone appears. Sosuke, is that you? The small boy avoids KK's look, turning his back and picking at something on the wet ground. Splish, splash, splish, splash. Hey, you, kid, you okay? Can you hear me? Are you hiding from something? Take a bath, take a bath. Come on, kid, this isn't the time or the place. Answer me. I'm not trying to scare you, but you gotta walk with me here. In the vast darkness of the sewer, the sound of KK's phone suddenly rings out, the tiny chime echoing back and forth around the hollow space. The small boy in the raincoat doesn't seem to notice. He must be very preoccupied. I'm close. I found Sosuke, but I'm worried. Hey, he won't... Muffled sounds. Down so far, the signal to KK's phone is barely holding on. He can only make out a few sounds and struggles to make out what words they might be forming. Muffled sounds. Hello, is anybody there? Renko, is that you? Ed, Erica, who is this? Who do you think it might be? Who do you think it is? Any clue? I'll just go with Erica. Erica, can you hear me? Are you with Ryota? Can you ask him? Was Sosuke wearing a yellow raincoat? The scratchy connection makes it almost impossible to understand. Sosuke. It's about Sosuke. Not
Oh, come on.
Erika. I can't understand Sosuke. It's not what? Not Sosuke. The call cuts out, the phone going dead in KK's hands. Enough. Sosuke. Just like that, finally, as if called by his mother to come to dinner, the child responds. He stands up and turns to KK with his dead, evil eyes. Okay, you're not Sosuke, you're the monster. KK raises his hand and calls forth an energy that he discovered that day long ago, the day he found his back against the wall, reaching out and touching the ether crystal. Ever heard of ethering weaving monster? Energy surges into KK's hands, green light winding and glowing, charging around his fingertips. The increasingly bright light glows, illuminating the tunnel, and in that moment, standing in the center of the tunnel, we can see this monster, this raincoat visitor, just in time for it to press a child's whistle to its mouth end. What happens? Oh, great. At a stranger's fingertips lies KK, now a prisoner.
I'm gonna call that Okoriko.
I need my subject to remain calm or nothing else will get done. Despite being captive, KK flashes the stranger a fierce glare. Hello, my new friend. I'm keen to see how useful your vessel turns out to be. The stranger takes something out and holds it in his hand. An amulet. Though clearly not simply for decoration, it's surges with power. He looks from the amulet and back to KK and smiles. What's happening? As the monstrous little raincoat visitor blows his whistle, he steps back into the shadowy darkness, running away, huh? But he's not running away at all. In fact, he's only making space for too much larger, far more horrifying visitors to show up and challenge KK. I've been waiting to run into you again. Let's go. Damage a single visitor. Okay. With a wind attack. Tailsman to stop visitors from moving. It will consume unused. Okay, I want to do this. The umbrella visitors are frozen in place. Only one stunned tailsman is left.
There's no more characters.
One umbrella visitor is injured. The umbrella visitors awaken from the stun. Defensive. A barrier appears in front of KK. An umbrella visitor attacks, but its attack is deflected by the barrier. The barrier is broken.
Lightning!
Another attack. Ooh. One umbrella visitor is injured. An umbrella visitor attacks. Defensive. A barrier increases in front of an umbrella attacks, but it's the barrier is broken. Tailsman. Stun. The umbrella visitors are frozen in place. You have no more stun tailsman left. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Nature blast, baby.
One umbrella visitor is injured. The umbrella visitor awakens from the stun.
It sounds like you're playing Pokemon.
I mean, kind of, but this is only because it's the pre-sequel. One umbrella visitor is injured. You're done. Oh, okay, not gonna lie, that was kind of cool with the hands. The fight now over, the sumo is oddly calm again. KK sweeps the space looking for any clues that may have been left behind. Why would a pack of monsters manifest their evil here? But then he sees it, affixed to one wall of the tunnel, a wooden tag, sometimes called a kifuda. This must be what summoned those things. KK reaches out to take the kifuda down, but as his fingertips approach it,
you know how in Japanese, instead of saying osu, they say os?
Oh.
It's the same thing with Kibuda.
Renko. Erika. KK feels a big, quick thump through his body.
Kibuda.
When he looks down, he sees someone else's arm stabbing through his chest. It's horrifying. Black smoke rushes out of his body. Looking back up, KK sees a man wearing a Hanya mask. Gasp. As KK continues to, he realizes that he is in the tunnel once again. No, still. He looks at his chest. It's totally fine. No gapping hole. Not even a scratch. Sweating, breathing heavy. His mind races. It was a horrible dream. Maybe a vision? He grips the Kafuda in his hand. I won't let him get away with this. So hard that it smashes it into pieces. At that moment, KK realizes He's not actually alone. Distracted by his fury, he had missed the approach of someone new. Who's there? Surprised, he spins to face this entity, but before he can raise his other hand, he got attack. I guess. KK emerges from the tunnel to find Ryota waiting with the rest of the team. You made it. Of course I did. I hope you won't too, Lloyd. It's good to see you in the welcoming party. It's embarrassing to admit it, but I actually was starting to get a little worried. Winco and Ed's monitoring systems was off the charts. All kind of activity around here, and then when we got here, you were gone and didn't come right back up. It was a long few minutes of trying to play it cool. If I lost you, what would I have left? Not very much, I'm afraid. There are plenty of things in your life more worthy than me. That's just it, I guess. I am being selfish, I think. When I see you, when I think about everything you've been through, I know that, well, similar people accept you're much stronger. If you didn't survive, how could I ever? Maybe we're not totally the same on the surface of or whatever. Not at all the same, but the loss that you've experienced deep down, if anyone could possibly understand, it's you. Please, Erica, don't focus on me. Sure, I came back this time, but it could have gone the other way. It's hard to explain to someone young like you who's been through so much but has their whole life ahead of them. You've got to live for yourself, can't help anyone else's situation until you get control of your own. I know your heart, it may be broken with what your father did to your family, and I'll never forgive him, but those broken pieces are in the right place. You need to be strong for yourself, then you can stand beside me and Winco and Ed, and we can put our lives on the line for the people we love together. And even then, things are gonna be just fine. Just you wait and see. Safely above ground, reunite with his team. KK turns his attention to the original source of all this drama, his young client, Ryota. You were never going to tell me, were you?
Let's call Eddie Eddie Guerrero, because that's kind of who he reminds me of.
Oh, Sosuke is your dog. He's my dog and my best friend. KK steps back nervously as Sosuke tries to jump into his lap, tail wagging. Oh, calm down. He just wants to pet. Jeez. Who'd have thought that such a tough-as-nails former detective would have such a strong phobia around dogs? Don't have to broadcast it, all right? Don't be scared. Sosuke loves everyone. Maybe he should draw the line at loving monsters and following them into the sewer. Ryota hugs his dog and gets a face full of licks in response. KK relaxes slightly, seeing how harmless this little dog is, but still keeps some distance. Thank you so much for bringing him home safely, Mr. KK. Mr. KK, what an adorable allies. When exactly did you start going by this new short name, KK? I suppose it was fun ring to it, not quite so formal as your full name, K. Before we get too sidetracked as the lead investigator on this one, you've got some paperwork to do, KK. Not sure what's worse, fighting monsters or filling out all these forms. It's obvious that you prefer the fighting to paperwork. KK scribbles out a few quick lines, only Ed can read them. Hey kid, this is for you. Oh, is it a prize for helping you find that ghost? Almost, it's the bill. Ryota's face sinks as he's left holding the check. Lucky for you, today's work is pro bono. That means free. Consider this your receipt. I'm feeling generous right now. Ryota looks closely at the paper in his hands. It says, the case of the cursed manhole extermination complete, KK. Leaning in over his shoulder. Winco lets out an uncharacteristically loud burst of laughter. Oh, now I get it. I didn't choose the nickname KK. Sloppy paperwork chose it for you. There's a lot in this life that we don't get to choose. Call me what you like. Not like I've got any use for a real name these days, and definitely not one of my old names. It doesn't matter what anyone calls me so long as I find that person. KK's gaze looks fierce as though he's recalling a bitter past, reflected in his eyes in Ryota, who looks pleased to have received KK's autograph. KK's expression softens up in response. That said, I guess KK's not so bad. Okay, so we finished the game Ghostwire Tokyo Prelude Corrupt Case Files. Now, this was very good. Wasn't bad. It was pretty good. It caught me hooked. So this game takes place like before Ghostwire Tokyo, which is the game that's coming out later this March. This is the backstory of KK and his teammates and stuff. It explains in more detail of how KK got his powers. And, you know, that kind of stuff. Now, I cannot wait to play the game when it actually comes out. I might do videos of it, whether that's gameplay or good, like, scenes I have or whatnot, but I don't know. We'll have to see when the game fully comes out. March 20, what is it? 21st? Yeah, 21st. Because I pre-ordered the game, so I get to play 3 days early. I got the deluxe edition, so I'll have more bonuses than the normal standard edition gives you. So yeah, that is all for this game. Bye!